going to talk about grammar and some parts of speech, and along with that, some rules. So let's get started. First of all, we are going to talk about that what grammar is. So grammar is the way we arrange words to make proper sentences. Word level grammar covers verbs and tenses, nouns, adverbs, etc. Sentence level grammar covers phrases, clauses, reported speech, etc. Let's come to the parts of speech. These are the words that you use to make a sentence. Verbs and verb tenses, action verbs express what is happening, like do, work. State verbs express a situation, like for example, be, have. Nouns. Nouns represent people, for example, teacher, Mary, etc. Places, town, Asia, and things, table, music, etc. Adjectives. An adjective is a word that tells us more about a noun. For example, big, rich, and expensive, and much more. Adverbs. Adverb Adverbs tell us more about verbs. Adjectives are adverbs. Loudly, really, extremely. Determiners. Determiners are words like the, and, this, that start a noun phrase. Prepositions. A preposition expresses the relationship of a noun or pronoun to another word. For example, at, in, from. Pronouns. Pronouns are small words like you, ours, some, that can take the place of a noun. Conjunctions. Conjunctions join two parts of a sentence, and, but, though, etc. Interjections. Short exclamations with no real grammatical value. Ah, dear, oh, wow, a loss, etc. Let's come to the 20 grammar rules. The first one. A sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with a period or full stop, a question mark or an exclamation mark. Let's see. The fat cat sits on the mat. So in this sentence you see that the first letter, the T, is capital because it has come in the beginning of the sentence. Where do you live? So you see that here two rules are applied. The first one is that the first letter is capital, the W is capital. And lastly, we have used the sign of interrogation. So if there is a question, so you must use sign of interrogation at the end of that sentence. My dog is very clever. So this is an exclamatory sentence. Powerful feelings are expressed here. So that's why two rules are applied here. The first one is that the first letter is capital, which is M, and lastly we have used exclamation mark, which shows our strong feeling. Rule number 2. The order of a basic positive sentence is subject, verb, object. It means that first of all we will use subject, then we will use verb, and then we will use object. Negative and question sentences may have a different order. Let's see. John loves Mary. So in this sentence you see that John is the subject, loves is the verb, Mary is the object. They were driving their car to Bangkok. So there are many other examples as well. The third one. Every sentence must have a subject and a verb. An object is optional. Note that an imperative sentence may have a verb only, but the subject is understood. It means that in each and every sentence the subject is important and crucial, and also the verb is also important and rudimentary. But The object is optional. Sometimes there will be object in a sentence and sometimes it will have no object. So object is optional. And an imperative sentence, we don't use the subject because we don't need it. We understand that. Let's see, for example, I say that come here. So here we don't use you because it is understood. Let's see some more examples. John teaches. So in this sentence, you see John is the subject and teaches is the verb. John teaches English. So in this sentence, John is the subject, teaches is the verb, and English is the object. Stop. That is, you stop. So it is imperative sentence. It is an order. So in this sentence, we don't need to use you. The fourth one. The subject and verb must agree in number. That is, a singular subject needs a singular verb and a plural subject needs a plural verb. Let's see an example. John works in London. So in this sentence, you see John is the singular subject, so that's why we use is with the verb and it's the present and definite tense. That monk eats once a day. So in this sentence, you see that monk. It is the simple subject. It is just a singular subject. So here we used is with the verb eat. So it became eats and it's the present and definite tense. John and Mary work in London. So in this sentence, you see the subject is plural, John and Mary. So here we used work. We can't say works here because the subject is plural. Other examples. Most people eat 3 meals a day. So here you see most people. So it's the plural subject. So that's why we used eat. And you can make other examples. You can make other examples as well. Let's come to the rule number 5. When two singular subjects are connected by are, use a singular verb. The same is true for either are and neither nor. John or Mary. So it shows it is just a singular subject. So then we will use the singular auxiliary or verb. John or Mary. Here we can't use are because it shows singular subject. John or Mary is coming tonight. And same is the case with either and neither. Either coffee or tea is fine. Neither John nor Mary was late. Rule number 6. Adjectives usually come before a noun except when a verb separates the adjective from the noun. I have a big dog. So in this sentence you see that big is adjective and dog is a noun. So we use the adjectives before the noun. She married a handsome Italian man. So you see in this sentence man is the noun and handsome Italian, these are adjectives. Her husband is rich. So in this sentence you see that rich is adjective. Rule number 7. When using two or more adjectives together, the usual order is opinion, adjective, fact adjective, plus noun. There are some additional rules for the order of fact adjectives. Let's see. I saw a nice French table. That was an interesting Shakespearean play. Rule number 8. Treat collective nouns, for example, committee, company, board of directors, as singular or plural. In British English, a collective noun is usually treated as plural, needing a plural verb and pronoun. In American English, a collective noun is often treated as singular, needing a singular verb and pronoun. Suppose, for example, the committee are having sandwiches for lunch. Then they will go to London. Typically British English. The BBC have changed their logo. Typically British English. My family likes going to the zoo. Typically American English. CNN has changed its logo. Typically American English. Rule number 9. The words its and its are two different words with different meanings.